When a woman ignores you, it can feel like an emotional blow. Maybe she didn't respond to your text, brushed off your invitation, or acted cold when you tried to talk to her. It's easy to feel frustrated, confused, or even insecure in these situations. But the key to turning this around is learning to respond with calmness, confidence, and strategy, not with anger or desperation. Let's be clear, this is not about playing petty games or trying to get revenge. Instead, it's about understanding the psychology behind her behavior and using that understanding to maintain your self-respect while also rebalancing the dynamic. By the end of this video, you'll be armed with a series of lessons designed to help you stay in control, project confidence, and even shift the situation in your favor. Remember, the goal isn't to destroy her ego in a harsh or malicious way. It's about showing her that you're not dependent on her validation and that her attempts to ignore you won't diminish your value. This approach, paradoxically, can make you far more attractive and respected in her eyes. So, let's dive into the lessons that will reshape how you respond to being ignored. Lesson 1. Understand the power dynamic. The first step is to understand why being ignored feels so unsettling. When someone ignores you, it creates an imbalance in the power dynamic. It may seem like they hold all the cards because you're left wondering about their thoughts and intentions. But here's the truth. Power in relationships isn't just about actions, it's about reactions. When you react emotionally, whether it's through frustration, pleading, or passive-aggressive behavior, you unknowingly give them more control. The key to regaining balance is to detach yourself from needing their attention or approval. Recognize that their behavior doesn't define your worth. The moment you realize this, you regain control of your emotions. Instead of focusing on what she's doing, focus on how you can project calmness and confidence. The less you seem affected by her behavior, the less power she has over you. Lesson 2. The value of silence. Sometimes, silence speaks louder than words. When a woman ignores you, the natural instinct might be to chase her for a response. Resist that urge. Responding with silence shows that you're not desperate for her attention. It conveys strength and self-assurance, which are incredibly attractive qualities. Here's the beauty of silence. It forces her to wonder what's going on in your mind. If she expected you to react with frustration or try harder to get her attention, your silence will catch her off guard. It creates a sense of mystery and can even make her second-guess her decision to ignore you. By staying silent, you communicate that your time and energy are valuable and that you won't waste them on someone who doesn't appreciate them. This subtle but powerful move can shift the dynamic and often compels her to rethink her actions. Lesson 3. Build your value. When you feel ignored, it's tempting to fixate on the person who's ignoring you. Instead, shift your focus to yourself. Use this time to build your value, emotionally, physically, and socially. Work on your personal goals, whether it's advancing in your career, hitting the gym, or learning a new skill. Surround yourself with people who value and respect you. The more you invest in yourself, the more confident and fulfilled you'll feel. And that energy is magnetic. When you're thriving and visibly enjoying life, it sends a powerful message. You're not someone who needs external validation to feel good about yourself. This confidence can make the person who ignored you realize what they're missing. Remember, the best revenge isn't about making someone feel bad, it's about making yourself feel amazing. Lesson 4. Stay cool under pressure. If you do end up in a situation where you need to interact with the woman who ignored you, the key is to stay calm and composed. Don't bring up her behavior or act bitter. Instead, treat her with the same level of respect and politeness you'd show anyone else. This approach accomplishes two things. First, it shows that her actions didn't shake you. Second, it highlights your emotional maturity. By not taking her behavior personally, you come across as someone who's in control of their emotions, a trait that's both admirable and attractive. Even if she tries to test you further, stay cool. Your ability to remain unbothered will speak volumes and can often turn the tables in your favor. Lesson 5. Set boundaries with confidence. Being ignored repeatedly is a sign that something isn't working, and it's crucial to address it. This isn't about confrontation, but about establishing your standards for how you expect to be treated. Boundaries are not ultimatums, they are expressions of self-respect. If her ignoring you seems intentional or becomes a pattern, calmly bring it up in a composed manner. For example, you could say, "I've noticed you've been distant lately, and I want to make sure everything's okay. I value open communication, so if something's bothering you, I'd appreciate it if we could talk about it." This type of response achieves several things. First, it lets her know that you've noticed the behavior and won't just accept it without acknowledgement. Second, it shows that you're open to communication and resolution rather than escalating the situation. Third, and most importantly, it communicates that while you're understanding, you won't tolerate consistent disrespect or neglect. By setting boundaries, you're reinforcing your worth. If she values you, she will likely respect your honesty and adjust her behavior. If not, it's a clear sign that you deserve better, and knowing that is a victory in itself. Lesson 6. Don't take it personally. It's easy to assume that being ignored means you've done something wrong, but this isn't always the case. People behave in certain ways for reasons that often have nothing to do with you. Maybe she's dealing with stress, unsure about her feelings, or simply not in the right place for connection. Taking her behavior personally can lead to unnecessary stress and overthinking, which only hurts your self-esteem. Instead, shift your perspective. Her actions reflect where she is emotionally, not your value as a person. Think about it this way. If someone's ignoring you to manipulate or test you, that's a reflection of their insecurities, not a statement about your worth. By refusing to internalize her actions, you're protecting your mental well-being and maintaining your emotional strength. This mindset also makes you more attractive. When you demonstrate that you won't crumble under someone else's behavior, it signals resilience and self-assurance. And these qualities are far more appealing than desperation or self-doubt. Lesson 7. Know when to walk away sometimes. The strongest response is no response at all. If her behavior shows a consistent lack of interest, effort, or respect, it might be time to walk away. This doesn't mean storming out or creating drama. It's about gracefully removing yourself from a situation where your value isn't recognized. Walking away isn't a loss. It's an act of self-respect. It sends a clear message. You're not someone who will chase after attention or settle for half-hearted effort. This choice also shifts the power dynamic back in your favor. By leaving the situation, you take control and show that your happiness isn't tied to anyone else's actions. Here's the irony. When you walk away with confidence, it often triggers a reaction. She may realize what she's losing and try to reconnect. Even if she doesn't, you'll find that stepping away opens the door to better opportunities and healthier connections. Walking away isn't about giving up. It's about choosing yourself. And when you make that choice, you build a life that's rich with respect, confidence, and people who truly value you. Lesson 8. Focus on non-neediness. One of the most powerful traits you can develop is non-neediness. When a woman ignores you, it's tempting to try harder to gain her attention, but this only makes you appear dependent on her validation. Instead, practice non-neediness by showing that your sense of self-worth isn't tied to her response, or lack of it. Non-neediness doesn't mean you're cold or dismissive. It means you're secure in yourself. You're someone who values their own time and doesn't wait around for someone else to define your happiness. You're not afraid to let go if the situation isn't working, and that confidence can change the way people perceive you. When you exude non-neediness, you become more desirable. It's a paradox. The less you seem to need someone's attention, the more likely they are to want to give it to you. But this mindset can only come from within. Focus on your passions, your goals, and the relationships in your life that are already fulfilling. This shift in focus will not only improve your response to being ignored, but will also make you a more attractive and self-assured individual. Lesson 9. Use time as your ally. When emotions run high, it's easy to feel the urge to act immediately, to confront her, seek closure, or demand attention. But often the best response is patience. Time is a powerful tool that allows emotions to settle and perspectives to shift. Instead of reacting impulsively, step back and give both yourself and her some space. This break serves multiple purposes. For you, it provides the clarity needed to evaluate the situation rationally. For her, it creates an opportunity to reflect on her own behavior and possibly reconsider her actions. Using time wisely also shows emotional intelligence. It demonstrates that you're not someone who's easily rattled or desperate for instant resolution. Instead, you're in control of your emotions and willing to wait for the right moment to engage, or not engage at all. In many cases, patience can turn the tide in your favor. She may come to miss your presence or realize that her behavior was unfair, but even if she doesn't, you'll have had the time to grow stronger, more composed, and ready to move forward on your own terms. Conclusion. Being ignored may feel hurtful, but how you respond to it reveals your true strength and self-worth. Instead of reacting impulsively or seeking validation, focus on staying calm and confident. Use the situation to demonstrate your independence and emotional maturity. By setting boundaries, embracing patience, and prioritizing your own growth, you communicate that your value isn't tied to anyone's attention. This not only preserves your self-respect, but often shifts the dynamic in your favor. Remember, true confidence comes from within. When you handle being ignored with grace and self-assurance, you show that you're someone worth noticing and respecting.